another week has come and gone. Hope everyone had a fantastic Mother's Day weekend. Welcome to episode 47 of Outside the Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. This week's OTC Player of the Week comes to us from Westville, Illinois, as Abby Sabalaski takes home the honors. Abby had an absolute fantastic week as she threw a no-hitter along with a perfect game and 34 strikeouts to lead the Westville Tigers to victory. Amazing job, Abby, and best of luck the rest of the season. On to this week's guest, and we sat down with Alabama Crimson Tide alum and marketing and promotions manager for Mizuno Fastpitch USA, Leah Majeski. Leah had a great 4 years with Alabama, where she would be a four-time academic All-SEC and make 2 trips to the Women's College World Series in 2003 and 2005. From there, she would spend a few years with the softball factory before moving on into her current role with Mizuno Fastpitch USA as the head of marketing and promotions. We're going to talk to Leah about getting her start in the game, the decision to attend Alabama, those 2 Women's College World Series, as well as still being involved in the game with Mizuno, and much, much more. Leah was an absolute treat to chat with, and I feel Mizuno was in fantastic hands with her being able to showcase all its amazing products. With that being said, grab that drink, sit back, relax, cause here we go.
I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes.
All right, here we go. Leah, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
How's things going down in Georgia?
Things are getting hot down here. Today was about 80 degrees, sunny, but it was beautiful. I'm excited for the summer finally.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. We had actually, it was pretty nice here today in Nova Scotia, which it would have been around, I'd say mid 60s, which is, for here at this time of the year is fantastic.
It's beautiful, yeah.
We'll take these days every day. But
Yeah.
How's the COVID situation down there where you're at?
It's going pretty well. There's a lot of vaccines out and available for people around here. I think everybody's getting more comfortable, being outside, being around other people. So, it's been nice being able to get back out. I'm starting to travel again, which has been really nice because I love to travel and I have missed it.
Unfortunately for us here in Nova Scotia, we got locked down 2 days ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because of cases were on the rise. We're up to like 96 was the peak for the day, and today was 70. So, I mean, for here, that's quite a bit because we went like all last summer. We were going pretty much the whole month without a case. So,
yeah. Oh.
So, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. It's almost like we're back to, square one, but hopefully this lockdown will get things back on track and, we'll be back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I hate to hear that for you guys.
Yeah. Anyway, but it is what it is. Everybody's going to deal with it. And hopefully, our vaccines are a little slow getting out here in Canada for some reason, but hopefully we can get them rolled out and, like I said, back on track.
Yeah.
Anyway, a little thing we do on to start the podcast here now. So a game we call Quick Pitches. I'm gonna throw out 10 questions to you. Random questions. so you do your best to answer these, and then we'll go from there. All right.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. First one. Favorite day of the week.
Saturday.
Nickname your parents used to call you.
A little bit.
Oh. Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
That's so funny because I am. No.
Okay. I thought that was a funny question myself.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get ready?
Oh, that depends. Let's say 30 minutes.
Okay. Best player in Atlanta Braves history.
Oh my goodness. Greg Maddux.
Ooh, good one. I was leaning more towards Chipper Jones.
Yep. He's amazing too. Yes.
Or, Hank Aaron was pretty good too.
Oh, Hank Aaron was awesome. Yes. Gosh, we could go on for days.
Well,
I'm a big Braves fan.
Yeah. Well, you could, the early 90s, you could take that whole team. Like,
exactly.
Holy cow. Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, the list goes on. Like, they were fantastic to watch, actually.
Those were my guys back then. Yep.
Right on. Next, how much do you like peaches?
Oh, I love peaches.
Of course. Peaches, Georgia State.
Absolutely.
How many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Oh, 2 or 3.
Okay. Fun fact, I've never had a drink of it in my life.
No?
Seriously.
I drink it straight black and people think I'm crazy sometimes.
Actually, people think I'm crazy that I've never had even tried it once, but I mean, I don't know.
Don't do it. Okay. Don't do it. You'll be hooked.
All right. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, wow. Of all time. Pretty Woman.
Good one. Julia Roberts, yeah. Richard Gere. Can't go wrong with that one.
Absolutely.
If you could go back in time to one moment, what would it be?
Women's College World Series, last game, 2005.
Okay. Last question. Best Mizuno product out there?
The F21 series Carbon 1 bat.
Oh, wow. She's right on. Right specific. Wow. Okay.
Very specific. It is hot.
Okay. I thought you might have said all of them.
Okay, well, there you go. Like everything you could ask for at Mizuno. But no, I love that bat. It's my favorite right now.
Right on. Okay, we'll get into more of the Mizuno stuff here in a bit. But first, let's talk about your playing career. Tell us when and where you got your start in the game.
When and where? Way back. Let's see. I was 4 years old in Atlanta, Georgia. Got into T-ball, of course. And then back then, there was a lot of slow pitch in Atlanta. So my dad happened to find the only fast pitch league or complex, whatever you want to call it, when I was about 7 years old. So I went and played over there on my first rec ball fast pitch league. And then when I was 9, actually played on my first travel ball team. It was a 12U travel ball team, and I was 9 years old playing outfield. And, back then there was not travel ball for all ages and stuff like that, like there is now. So that was pretty special. And then, from there was just on travel ball teams, went to all the tournaments, the Colorado Sparkler and fireworks. We had those back then. So lots of travel ball tournaments, and did all my recruiting stuff and ended up at Alabama.
Right on. I was going to ask you, growing up, with the minor ball, were you strictly playing with girls, or was there a mix until a certain age?
There was definitely a mix. Now, I happened to play with just girls. With that league my dad found, it was female only, but I knew plenty of friends that played co-ed and played baseball growing up. We even had a girl on our team at Alabama that played baseball growing up until college. So, it was not unheard of to do that.
Okay, right on. Actually, so your high school and travel ball, you seem to have some good success. If I can read through the numbers here, because you were named 2000 Offensive Player of the Year in South Gwinnett High School, second team All-State honorable mention in 98-99. Only freshman to play and start in the 97 South Gwinnett Georgia High School. That's pretty impressive. Selected to play in the prestigious 2000 Boulder Colorado Independence Day All-Star Game, and also helped lead Georgia Elite Gold Team to the 17th place finish at the ASAs in 2001. Now, my question really is, I guess, when did you when did you know this was going to be the path you were going to go on, as far as, you wanted to go to university? Is this around the time when it happened?
I was 12, and I remember specifically when it happened. I was watching the Women's College World Series. It was the only softball that was shown on television back then. I have no idea what channel. Could not tell you that. Couldn't remember. But it was pouring rain. There was a moment, I think, where there could have been a rain delay. We were watching fans, kids especially roll down the hill where actually there's now stadium seating.
Oh, right.
But it used to be just a grass hill.
Yeah.
And we were watching fans, kids just roll down in the mud and everything. And I remember my dad and I sitting there, and he said, "What do you think about this? Wouldn't it be fun to be there one day?" And I said, "Heck yeah, Dad, I'm going to play there one day." So I know immediately when I was 12 that is what that was my goal. That's what I wanted to do.
Awesome. So like when I mention all those, accolades back then, what comes to mind when I bring up that time of your life?
I couldn't even remember all of that. It was pretty neat to hear. What comes to mind, to memory? A lot of hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of, I was definitely able to be a kid and to be a teenager. I did the dances and the proms, and I did, the sleepovers and stuff. But there were many, many times where I missed the weekend at the lake or the birthday party in the summer because I had a travel ball tournament or, things like that. And I know that there was a point in my life where I struggled a little bit with that, missing out on some things. I remember a very specific, deep conversation with my father about, just choices and do I want to do this? And am I, going to put my heart and soul into training and stuff like that? And definitely decided that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to play at a high level college. I wanted to go to the World Series. Back then I even wanted to play on the Olympic team. Just things like that. So what comes to mind when you read all of that to me? A lot of hard work that turned into some success. And I smile thinking about it.
Right on. So what led to the decision to attend University of Alabama?
Coach Patrick Murphy and being on that field. I watched Alabama football a lot when I was young. I also watched a number of other great universities for football. I watched some amazing legends in pro football, all with my father. And so that tradition of Alabama football and stuff, I kind of grew up knowing a little bit and very interested in what that atmosphere was like as a student. I definitely, it was at the top of my list the entire time I was being recruited. And I'll tell you what, when I stepped on campus, I literally got out of the car, walked about 10 feet onto the quad, and I looked at my dad and I said, "This is where I want to go."
Nice. Were there other schools on the radar for you, though?
There were. Back then, you took 5 official visits. It's a little different these days, getting back to a little bit the way it used to be, but things have kind of changed in the rules some. But you took 5 official visits the fall of your senior year. Alabama was my 4th. And it was no doubt after that. I had some other offers and some other schools I was going to go look at maybe unofficially. I had another one scheduled after Alabama officially, but I committed that weekend to Alabama. I was so excited to be there.
As soon as you saw it, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you recall most about getting there and, situated with your surroundings?
The people, the minute I stepped on, the surroundings, it was gorgeous. I mean, that was just, there were trees and it was beautiful. It was September. It was just gorgeous. Everything was so manicured. The buildings were just beautiful. I don't know, just the architecture and everything, it felt really good. But, the minute I met the coaches and the team and stuff, it just felt like home. It felt like such a family and everybody was just so welcoming. And I remember that feeling like it was yesterday, like I belong here.
Right on. So I was going to actually, you touched on the football there. I was going to ask you about what were the football games like? Because, I picture it being like one huge party.
Well, people ask me all the time or like make comments to me these days, with Alabama's success lately. They joke with me about, winning school and you don't know what it's like to lose and stuff like that. And I have to remind them that when I was at Alabama, we went through some rough years. I think we went through 4 coaching changes while I was there.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah. We were on suspension for 3 years, I believe. We couldn't go to a bowl game.
That's a tough time to be there. What?
But it was still amazing because, those football games, I hope I didn't take it for granted, because I think back and I just loved being there in that atmosphere, because honestly, whether you are winning or losing, the tradition that Alabama instills in you when you're there as a student is just like no other that I've ever been a part of. And so even if we were losing a game, of course, our competitive side as athletes were, upset or darn, feeling bad or feeling down. But I'm telling you, being in those stands for a football game was just absolutely unbelievable.
I imagine. Was it loud? Like, it had to be loud there.
Very loud, very loud. And I didn't go to many other stadiums, so I don't have anything to compare it to. These days, a lot of stadiums are really loud that I've been to, but back then I probably would have told you it was the loudest stadium in the country, just because of how I felt.
Right on. I always want to know, like, especially with Alabama and their football tradition, I just, I wondered about, what it was like for a game day there, and, just everything surrounding it, really.
A lot of fun, a lot of tents, a lot of tailgating, a lot of Southern hospitality. You walk by a tailgate and they're grilling out, and
wow, that'd be awesome.
You don't even know the people, and they're like, hey, come in, grab some food, or you need a Coke, or whatever it might be. And it's just a lot of fun to walk around. And a lot of times we would have a tent where we'd be signing autographs during a game day and stuff, and that was always very, very cool.
Right on. It would be amazing, actually. So when you arrived there, obviously, like, your season didn't start till, what was it, February?
Technically, yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Season.
But I mean, you guys would have obviously been together until February. What was that period like leading up to your freshman season there?
That was a lot of learning. That fall, we have a very rigorous training schedule, and then we do play some games in the fall just for practice and things like that. And as prepared as I thought I was, and I think this is a lot of freshmen around the country, as prepared as you think you are for college softball, especially at that high of a D1 level, you're never prepared. Mm-hmm. You're never prepared for all of it. And it's not just the intense workouts or the practices. It is everything. You are on your own for the first time, away from your family, away from your parents. I was a very independent person, and I was still, sort of struggling to manage the time and figure it all out, because you have class and you have study hall and you have practice and weights and, running, conditioning, all of the above. And trying to be responsible, be on your own, manage your time, also, study and be great on the field. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. And it takes a minute to figure out. And so, that time was spent for me, a lot of learning, a lot of adjusting, a lot of realizing how resilient I could be. And I would say that freshman fall taught me a lot about life and even me as a person. Right.
Actually, you saying that, I never even thought about this, but do you think, doing as a college athlete and, going through all that time management and everything, do you think that's setting yourself up good for when you graduate and for the real world?
I do think so. I think that it is very important to be pushed. I don't think that you can truly know what you can do, whether it be mentally or physically, until you're pushed to the limit, and you have to decide, or you have to push, yourself even further and things like that. Back then, with the conditioning or the practice days, or even double headers, sometimes I think my body did things that I was like, what, how did that, how did I do that? Plays I would make on the field, but I would never have made certain plays on the field, certain athletic moves, whatever it might be. I would have never done that if I hadn't pushed myself in the training or in the conditioning. And the same thing goes in the classroom. If I hadn't pushed myself mentally and, gotten those study hall hours or gotten the tutors that I got, I wouldn't have reached the potential that I could have reached. So does it teach you a lot about the real world? Absolutely. I think that, we don't understand what the real world is going to do to us until, we're actually in it. Right. So it's like all of those things I could look back on. Anything that I learned or any trials and tribulations that I went through in college, I can look back on and use it towards something that might be happening in my job today or my life today.
Excellent. Excellent. So do you remember the opening weekend series against Arizona in your freshman season?
I do. I do.
What do you recall about that? I mean, it's a tough way to open the season. They had a pretty okay pitcher on the opposition. What?
She was all right. She was okay. I remember, I honestly remember being in awe. I was starting as a freshman at third base on Alabama, and it was incredible. I was starting as a third base freshman against Arizona and against a pitcher that I had watched and idolized. I mean, she was Jenny Finch was a senior when I was a freshman. So we missed each other in travel ball a bunch. I never really played against her. And being able to, and knowing about her and being able to start my freshman career against her and against the entire team of Arizona, against Mike Candrea, that was incredible. So I had to quickly during warm up kind of get my self out of that jaw-dropping experience and get my mind right for the game. But yeah, I mean, Mike Candrea in general was a big part of my training growing up because I was a slapper and there weren't many slappers back then in the 90s. And so Mike Candrea, I remember, had come out with cassette tapes on how to be a slapper, on, technique and things like that. And my dad bought all of them because I was a fast lefty and he thought, this is exactly what you're going to do. So, basically Mike Candrea, when I was a young kid, through his cassette tapes, not cassette tapes. I'm sorry, VHS tapes.
Oh, I was going to say cassette tapes. Was it Mike talking through the speaker the entire time?
No, that's my fault.
I was trying to grasp the whole thing, and I was like, how are you learning this?
Yeah, so no, through his VHS tapes.
Okay.
We sat there and watched them and then went out on the field. And so I don't know, just, getting to play against his team, it was pretty special.
I imagine. And the funny thing, there's going to be people listening to this saying, what are cassette and VHS tapes?
Cassette tapes, yeah.
Like,
or VHS.
Both,
or VHS
both,
tapes.
right? Like, of course I know what they are, but I guarantee you there's going to be a lot listening saying, what are those?
Yep. I'm aging myself there, but oh well.
I'll Google it. That's all you have to do.
Exactly.
So what would you say was your biggest takeaway from that, from your freshman season?
For my freshman season, work harder. I think that as a team, we did pretty well. I think that we were pretty disappointed. We ended up losing at regionals. We were at Florida State. And I think that, everybody returning, we thought we had a lot more potential. And I think that me individually and my goals, it was just to get better, to work harder. And that's kind of how I always went about things in life, was just, hey, if you fail at something, or if you don't do as good or exceed like you thought you would, get to work, work better, work harder.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. I mean, everybody, that's a life lesson, really. I mean,
absolutely.
That's one thing I'll take from it. But so your sophomore year, you make it to your first Women's College World Series, second in school history, defeating Southern Illinois 2-0 in the regionals. What was that feeling like when you guys beat Southern Illinois?
That was pretty incredible. Our goal was make it to the World Series, right? Mm-hmm. And not to shortchange our goals or anything, but we weren't even thinking about what we were going to do when we got there. We just wanted to get there. Yep. We had only been once, like you said, and we were trying to build a dynasty, build a program. So our goal was make it there. So when we won, it was like we won the whole World Series. We were so excited. And, I think that being a program of only, what was that, 5 years? I think we had only been 5 or 6 years. that was unbelievable. We had been there twice, and now we're winning games at the World Series. So it was a really special moment.
So can you remember what the atmosphere was like when you guys got to OKC?
Loud. Being on that field, gosh, I think back then there was 8,000 to 10,000 in the stands. It's grown a lot since then. They've added a lot more seating and things, but
they put that second tier in, didn't they?
Exactly. The second tier, even the outfield seating. I think in 2003, if I can remember correctly, they didn't have outfield seating. In 2005, I believe they did when we went. But yeah, it was the biggest stage. And I said earlier, that was my goal as a child, was to make it there to that field that I saw on television. And it was unbelievable. It gave me chill bumps. I was so excited to be there and just get to play on that field. Yeah.
I mean, not only once, but senior year, you go back, that must have been a special feeling, to cap off your final season.
It was the best way to end my career. Yep.
Yeah.
It obviously would have been better to end my career winning the World Series. That would have been amazing. But honestly, to end it there, that was pretty special.
Now, you guys always had tough openers, though, when you got there. I mean,
we did.
You had
yes.
Alicia Hollowell in 2003, and then I'm guessing that Kat would have started in 2005 against you in that opening game.
She sure did. Yeah.
So what was it like, facing, Hollowell and Kat Osterman?
To be honest, facing them was business. So,
right.
I mean, we train so much for moments like that, for pitchers like that. Mentally, I trained to be in that situation. Kat specifically, I had played against Kat for a long time in travel ball and through some games in college too. So, I definitely would not say I was taking anything lightly. Kat is an incredible pitcher and, was even back then, obviously. So, it was still very much a challenge to hit against Alicia or Kat. But I would say that it was all business. We were ready. I was ready. I was ready to be in that box. So
are there any special moments that stick out to you at Alabama, whether it's on or off the field?
There's a couple of really great moments that I'll always remember at Alabama. Coach Murphy gave us a lot of opportunities to play some incredible games, to see some incredible places. We went to Hawaii my senior year that I had never been. That was unbelievable. He was and still is, but he's very into making sure that we have an experience as well as play softball.
Right.
And I thought that was unbelievable of him. So, like when we were in Hawaii, we got to do a team luau and stuff like that. We visited Pearl Harbor. And then, when it was game time, when the tournament started, we all knew it was time for business, so time to go to work. So I really thank him for allowing us to have experiences like that. We went out to Palm Springs, California. We played in a tournament out there, ended up playing the USA team at the time. So I got to play against Lisa Fernandez, which I had met I had met her multiple times before. She was definitely my idol in the 90s, her and Dot Richardson. And, so it was very, very special. And again, jaw dropping to be on the same field as her and get to hit against her, which was absolutely incredible. But just moments like that, playing Jenny Finch, I had some, looking back, there's a lot. I mean, we could talk all day. There's a lot of special things that happened at Alabama that I cherish for a long time. Yeah. Well, you say Coach Murphy doing those things. That's one of those things that I think, it builds team chemistry, doing those trips. And I think that's huge for team. I think team chemistry is the biggest thing. You can have all the skill you want, but I said it on here many times. Team chemistry is my number one thing. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, what was the process like for you after you were done your playing career? You'd attend Alabama for two more years, correct? I did. Yeah,
Now I know you didn't do your interior design or hotel management. That you they have those down as your majors. I know you didn't do them. So what did you do?
You have some really good research here.
Hey, that's what I do.
Yeah, I don't recommend what I did, but I recommend trying to figure it out before I did. I changed my major about 2 months before my senior season ended, and that was a huge discussion between my family, my coaches, everything. It was a big deal. I wasn't going to necessarily graduate that May in 2005. I still had another semester or so, but I decided I didn't want to go down the path that I was on. And, obviously I feel at this point, I feel very comfortable about that. I'm glad I did it, but it definitely caused me to be in school a little bit longer. And so while others were getting their master's degree, I was still working on my bachelor's, but it all worked out. It was definitely the right decision. I just recommend doing it earlier than I did.
So were you able to, to live a little more freely, not being an athlete?
Yes and no. Yes, definitely. But I did internships for the next 2 years. So I tried to make the most of that time and really kind of build a resume in a way. So I did internships with the sports marketing department. I did some color for Alabama games for the radio. I even threw out T-shirts. I worked for the basketball games. And then I also did photography internships. Photography is a hobby of mine and something that I very much considered pursuing at one point, but thought that maybe with some advice from some people, I should just not try to make a career out of it as a starving artist and do something else. But I worked for the sports marketing and photography department and did some photos at football games and basketball games and softball games and even tennis. So I tried to make the most of that time and go to school and work at the same time to, like I said, kind of build a base to my resume for any future jobs that I might want.
Excellent. How'd you enjoy doing color?
It was so fun. And I would have absolutely loved it. I tell my husband all the time that I wish there were the opportunities there are now back then for sports commentary and color and things like that, because I loved it. It was so fun being in the booth and talking softball. And I think that would have been really fun as a career path way back then.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Like, yeah, for myself, I mean, I think about it. I'm like, that would be just unreal.
I am so glad that it's an opportunity for a lot of the former players these days, because it's something that the players are really good at. These athletes know softball and you'll listen to them and they teach really good things on television. I think we need a lot of that for softball. These young girls are watching the game and you are teaching them as you talk. And I think that we have a lot of good people in place right now that used to play the game at a high level that know what they're talking about. And I love listening to them. Yeah.
I mean, you look at the work that Danielle Laurie did with Athletes Unlimited this past summer. Yes. And I thought she did an amazing job.
I thought Danielle did amazing. Just like you said, I loved listening to her. She brought up some really great things, and she definitely knows what she's talking about. Francesca Anea is another one. She does commentary down for Florida in Gainesville, and I absolutely love listening to what she says.
Absolutely. Now, I want to talk about, 2011, you'd start working with Softball Factory. What all did that entail for you?
At first, it was a lot of just camps and stuff. So I got to go all over the country and help run camps. And the Softball Factory had a couple of different types of camps. So there were some where the girls would come for the day, and it was more kind of evaluation, telling the kids, where we think that they are at athletically in comparison to kids around the country that we were watching. And so we would give them a lot of feedback. And then there were other ones that were a little bit longer, maybe a weekend, where we would actually get some games in, get to train with them. And then there were week-long events where we had them kind of in a college-style setting. We would go down to Vero Beach at Dodgertown a lot and get to really sink our, teeth into these kids and teach them a lot. And that was an amazing experience for me because I love teaching softball. I love taking these kids and watching them grow, especially these week-long events that we would do, the development camps. We got to kind of watch them transform from day one, and maybe not even just physically, maybe, as a person, maybe they were really shy on the first day. And then by the end of the week, they're the loudest one in the dugout or something like that. And it was just really fun to be able to connect with these girls. And I'm still in touch with a lot of girls that, a lot of athletes that I used to coach, back when they were 12 years old, 13 years old at these camps. And now they're graduating college, and, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When you can see the growth of a player just in a week, I mean, that's fantastic to see. So was there a lot of traveling involved with that?
There was, it was a lot in the Southeast, especially. And then I was sent out to, Oklahoma City. We would do camps the week of the World Series, sometimes in California, a lot in Houston, and then a lot up in the Northeast as well. So I definitely did some traveling. Right on.
So was your husband, Dave involved with that as well?
He was. He got involved a few years later. And then, was doing the same type of camps that I was, and a lot at the same time, which was really fun because Dave and I are both softball coaches. He used to be a college coach very recently. He just got out of college coaching a couple of years ago. And so he had a lot of knowledge to give these kids, and it was really fun. Him and I are very much into teaching the game of softball. So getting to travel with your husband and do something you love was really fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Actually, he was drafted twice, Major League Baseball, wasn't he? Cleveland and Milwaukee.
He sure was. Cleveland and Milwaukee. He turned down Cleveland and he ended up going with Milwaukee after his senior year. Yep.
Right on. Just to get drafted. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment anyway. So
yeah.
So then he would get into coaching softball, a few different schools. He was actually coaching with the Polish national team, was he not?
He was the head coach of the Polish national team. That's correct. And they played in the European Championship in 2019 out in Poland and the Czech Republic.
Wow, that must have been pretty cool for him.
That was one of the best experiences of his life, if I can speak for him. Yeah. I know that it was, and I got to actually be out there with his daughters, Hope and Megan, and to go out there, and we joined him to watch him coach the team and stuff at the European Championship. And Dave is very much like me when it comes to teaching these young athletes. It's all about developing them into the best athletes they can be, and also teaching them a lot about life and kind of preparing them for college. One of our favorite things throughout the years has been to get these girls college scholarships, to find a place that they will live for 4 years and play and love the game of softball. And I think that going out to Poland and helping that league out there and that team out there was very special to him. They don't have many opportunities in Poland for softball. They're definitely getting more, especially in the last couple of years. But as history in the past, they don't have a lot of opportunity and a lot of ways to learn the game of softball or even get equipment and just things like that. So goodness, going out there and being able to give any kind of knowledge to them and, possibly shape some lives and stuff. He was blown away when he got that opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, for him to go there and to grow the game. That's the thing.
Exactly.
With softball. I mean, the main thing about our game is that we're continuously trying to grow it. And, for Dave to go to Poland, that's fantastic, in my mind anyway.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
it must be cool to be able, to talk about the game and the ins and outs, with each other.
Very cool. And we get, we love, bouncing ideas off of each other, talking about, any news that's been happening, we even get a little competitive when it comes to, hey, did you hear this? And it's like, oh yeah, I already know that, so that's a lot of fun, within our household, just keeping up with softball.
Yeah. Now, do you guys coach a team out of South Carolina together, correct?
Yes. I don't coach necessarily on the field as much as I used to.
Right.
Since I've been with Mizuno, except for last year, I travel a lot and things like that. So I don't get the opportunity to be out there as much as I'd want to. But yes, he still runs the organization. It's called Team South Carolina, Team SC. And we have, I think 12, 13 teams or something like that now. But again, just an opportunity to help kids enjoy softball and hopefully get them a college scholarship.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So talking about your current job with Mizuno, how did that all come about?
Just really interestingly, connections in softball are amazing. The connections that we make
for sure.
Throughout the years are truly special and serve a purpose, at some point. There's a wonderful human being named Nicole Barber that I met back when she played at Georgia and I was at Alabama. Growing up in Georgia, about 20 minutes from the University of Georgia, I knew a lot of girls on the team. And so I met Nicole through there, and we've kind of stayed in touch just throughout the years with softball and stuff. And Nicole was in my position before me. And so when I was in South Carolina and I had these travel ball teams and I was doing lessons and things like that, Nicole would reach out to me a lot with new Mizuno products and say, hey, I'm going to send you some, bats to demo. Will you use them with all of your lessons and your travel ball teams and, give me some feedback and things like that. And so I actually, worked with Nicole very closely on some product development ideas and just things like that, feedback, and for a couple of years. And then Nicole called me one night and said, I think I'm going to leave Mizuno, and no, nothing bad. I just have a better opportunity. And, something really good has come along. And, she was like, I want to recommend you for the position. And that blew me away. I was like, this is unbelievable. It was a time in my life when I was struggling with my current position. I didn't know what the future held. I was trying to make a big decision about, whether I was going to stay on the path that I was on or change. And, it's just one of those things that, exactly the right time it came along. And we talked about it. Nicole and I talked about the job and different things. And I quickly realized that it was basically my dream job. It was marketing and promotions, which I had done for a long time. And it was softball, which I did on the side for a long time. So I kind of got to put them both together. And it was very exciting to even apply or, talk to her about the opportunity. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to get it, but it was fun just to kind of have that goal in mind.
That's awesome. Actually, isn't Nicole Barber like the NCAA record for stolen bases in a career?
She sure is.
Yes.
She's that girl. We could never get her out. I mean, obviously, she holds the record, but oh my goodness, it was like we did everything not to let her on base.
Yeah, I think she went like 73 games straight without getting caught out or something like that. I mean,
yeah.
If my memory, yeah. I have a good memory, but
whatever it was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's incredible, actually. So, with your job, like right now, what does your job entail?
Basically, I'm all marketing and promotion. So I do a little bit of everything when it comes to anything you see out there with Mizuno. Nothing really on the sales side. I wouldn't say that I'm involved with that very much, but I manage a lot of our college sponsored accounts. I manage a lot of the travel ball teams that we work with, and I get to work with all of our professional athletes one-on-one. I get to, I think I have an advantage when it comes to being able to be in the position I'm in, because I did play at a high level, and I do know what's expected in the quality of the products. And I believe in Mizuno, and back to your question real quick about taking the job and being interested in it. Like I said, I have been pretty much involved for a few years, just knowing how the development and the product technology had changed over the years and stuff. And so there's no way that I could morally, be a part of a company that I didn't believe in their product. It's like I played college softball. I played at that high level. I know what's expected of the gear, and I couldn't be the marketing and promotions person for a product that I didn't truly back and believe in. And so, I've tested all of it. I tested it for years, and I truly, truly believe in it. And that's honestly why I even applied for the position, because I just thought, absolutely, I can promote this product. I can market this.
Yep, for sure. I must say, I love the product. Like, as a player, I still play myself, 43 years old, still pitching.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I love the product.
Yeah.
Now you guys have some pretty big names on board with you. Who are some of the names that you guys have on board?
As far as athletes go?
Yeah.
We are with Jenny Finch, of course. She has been an incredible ambassador for us, and not only us, but the sport of softball in general. But we are so glad she is still a member of the Mizuno family. Samantha Shao, of course, you had her on a little bit ago. We love Samantha. We have Danielle Laurie is a part of our family. Danielle O'Toole, who played at Arizona and is on Team Mexico. Paige Halstead, a catcher for UCLA, won a World Series national title. Carly Hoover played for LSU. She's out in Japan playing right now for the Japan League. And then Ali Aguilar is a member of our family as well in footwear, and she is on Team USA. So, just with that roster in general, we're really excited about the Olympics and to see all of them on the field.
No doubt. That's a big list of names right there. Is there something specific Mizuno looks for, when they go into partnership with the player or a team?
Yes. And really it's something specific that I personally look for. And this probably comes back from Alabama and just wanting the best person on your team. And that's one of the big things that I look for is, what are these people like? What are these athletes like as people? And I work very closely with them. So I want to be able to get along with them and love them. And, not only are they a great athlete, but do they believe in the product as much as I do? And I think that's a huge part is, if you're going to promote Mizuno, if you're going to be one of our athletes, one of our ambassadors, I need you to love the product. I need you to believe in it like I do, because I think that when these athletes go out and they wear the product or use it or talk about it, or show it on social media, I think that if they truly believe in it and love it, that it will come out and people will see that. And, I guess selfishly, I want them to love it as much as I do. So that's kind of what I look at and look for when I'm talking with an athlete or thinking about signing an athlete.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the team, I noticed you're with a bunch of NCAA teams. How does that process go as far as, selecting what teams, are Mizuno reps?
Well, and again, who they are and how much they love the product, and a lot of these teams have stuck with us for a long time and have seen the growth in our product and are the best ambassadors for us, because they've, seen how hard we've worked in our technology and things like that. And, for instance, like Oklahoma State and JMU, it's like they've been with us forever. Nebraska, they are always there. They've been through all of the changes and things like that. And they're incredible partners for us. And it's because of teams like that we get new opportunities with other colleges because they speak so highly of us and they use the product and they're real, they're very good. And so when it comes to the new teams, I find a lot of times the conversation goes really easily. It's, hey, do you want to, try out the product? And they're like, absolutely. I've been seeing those balls fly off the bats of these, teams we're playing. So yeah, I want to test it out. So it seems to be a pretty easy conversation. And, obviously there's always the contract things and the legalities and stuff, but I think in general, I think our product speaks for itself. And a lot of times these teams are really willing to try it out.
Absolutely. Now, did you guys have a sponsor with Athletes Unlimited this past summer?
We did. We were the official ball of the league.
Nice.
It was very exciting.
So go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I was really excited about the entire league coming up and had lots of conversations with them. So to be the official ball was a big deal for me. It was very special.
No doubt. What did you think about the league? Because I watched the whole thing and I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was refreshing.
It was.
Yes. I've watched pro softball for a long time, and there's many, many people out there that don't realize that we've had a professional softball league for a very long time. And nothing against the professional softball league. I think it's wonderful, but just a new face, a new concept, a new energy. Wow, that was really exciting. And getting into the point system and all of that, it was very different than what anyone's used to. And I thought it brought a level of joy and excitement for the players. They seemed to really get into it. I thought that anyone watching the game would be very interested and curious as to what the points were for and what was going on. And I found myself watching every week and trying to see who was on the leaderboard and, all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really exciting. I just wish that we could have been there in person to watch some games, hopefully this year.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I'm so excited for season 2. Here I am in Nova Scotia in Canada and I'm excited for Athletes Unlimited down in Chicago. So, I mean, they made a very good impression up here. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's in store for Mizuno going forward here?
We have a lot of really cool things coming out in the upcoming years and stuff that we've been working on. Our bats just keep getting better and better. We've gotten a lot of great feedback, and that's one thing that we love to do is get feedback from people, using the bats, from the athletes and stuff like that. So we have some cool colors coming out and just different things that we're trying. It's going to be really exciting to see what the market thinks, when all these things hit the shelves and hit the catalog and stuff.
Yeah, I think the glove design is so awesome. I talked to Adam from Mizuno Canada here about this. Yeah, we talked back and forth online, and I told him, I said that the glove design is by far my favorite thing. Like being able to design your own glove to whatever color, whatever you want on it, I think is just fantastic.
Yeah, the custom glove builder, it's really cool. And I just look back to my days and we laugh, when I get together with some of my old friends from back playing at Alabama, and we're like, back then, it was the custom design was taking a Sharpie and writing,
yeah,
writing like your number or like writing a saying or a Bible verse or, something like that. Like that was how you customized your glove back then. And so these days, man, these things that are available for these young athletes and stuff playing is just incredible. I love it. We're coming out with some cool things in the very near future. We're launching, I can't give too much away, but we're launching something May 15th. It's going to be pretty amazing. So keep a lookout for that. And then coming this fall, we got something pretty exciting happening that we're going to be launching. So
awesome. I can't wait to see it. Little thing to end the podcast with. It's called Player Association. We do it with every guest. I'm going to name it a player you're probably familiar with, and what player could be a coach, could be anybody. Anyway, you can say as much about them or as little about them as you want. You ready?
Okay.
All right. First one is Jackie McLean.
Played with Jackie since we were 12 years old. Jackie used to be a pitcher, and she, I remember one game she smacked me so hard in the elbow. I honestly thought that like my elbow had fallen off. It was terrible. And we used to joke about that and laugh about that back in college. But no, Jackie is a very special, wonderful person in my life. We were throwing partners all 3 years that she was there. She was a year ahead of me. And I can't say enough good things about Jackie. I miss her like crazy. I don't get to see her as much as I'd like.
Awesome. Next is DC Phillips.
Daisy, yes, Daisy's my best friend. We were roommates in college for years. I actually just spoke to her probably an hour before this podcast. She's coaching. Yeah, she's coaching a travel ball team up in New Jersey, or not travel ball. I'm sorry, a high school ball team up in New Jersey. And it's her first time really getting into coaching. And so we were talking about some ideas and different things. But yeah, Daisy's always been in my life. She will be for a long time. Every time we have an alumni weekend or something in Alabama, I usually pick her up at the Atlanta airport, and then we drive over to Tuscaloosa together. So yeah, she's one of my very best friends.
That's awesome. Next is Stephanie Van Brackle.
There's another one of my besties. So Steph and I, again, go way back. She was a year younger than me as far as the grades go, a year under me. She's been a big rock in my life for a long time. Steph and I don't get to see each other again as much as we'd love to. She's obviously super busy being the pitching coach at Alabama. But if I ever need to count on anyone, it's Steph. I mean, she is my rock, my best friend. I love her to death, and I get to see her pretty soon. It's been, probably a year because of COVID. So I get to see her at the SEC tournament in 2 weeks.
Excellent. Next is one of your Mizuno reps, Jenny Finch.
Jenny is just one of the most amazing humans I've ever met. I mean, I'm not sure anyone could smile more than she does.
I was going to ask that actually, because seeing her on social media, she's always smiling and so, upbeat. She
is unbelievable. She is still rocking it. She just did the half triathlon. She's training for a full.
Wow.
Not only that, but she's an incredible mother to her boys and to Paisley. And she's always doing stuff to be an ambassador for softball. She, she's an incredible human being. And not just that, but she's one of the most genuine people I've ever met. It's a lot of times, and you'll meet people and they're one way in front of the crowd and another way behind the scenes, but Jenny's not. I mean, what you see is what you get. And I'm so glad she's in the Mizuno family, because I get to work with her and get to, she just lights up my face when I'm around her. So she makes me feel like a happier person just being around her.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Paisley, is she like signed on to Mizuno for the next 40 years? Is she? Or
Absolutely. No.
I saw the picture of her standing beside her own pitcher there. That's pretty cool.
Wasn't that cool? I loved that. Yeah, that's pretty neat. No, Paisley, gosh, she's such a ball of joy, that little kid. So no, I'm excited to watch her grow. If she sticks with softball and stuff, I'm excited to see what happens.
Absolutely. All right. Last on the list is Coach Patrick Murphy.
Oh, Coach Murphy. He's basically my second father. He's an amazing man. And, when I played for him, he's a tough coach, and that's okay. There were definitely days when, you walk away from practice and you're just mad about the world, and maybe you didn't do very well, or maybe he got on to you or something. But the very next day, that guy is hugging on you, just, you're just his favorite again. He's just a really great man. And since I've got to know him outside of softball, as far as being his player, I developed a friendship with him, and I speak to him very often. And, he's very good at keeping in touch all of the alumni, including the alumni with the current teams. For instance, we missed our alumni day last April, and we had it rescheduled for, I think it was going to be September or October in the fall. But as it got closer, we realized we weren't going to be able to have an alumni day again. And so he set up a team Zoom, and we had, I think it was 50, 60 alumni on this Zoom call.
Wow. And
it was scheduled for an hour and a half or 2 hours. I think it started at 7 or 8 at night Eastern time. We talked until 2 a.m. It was
that's amazing.
Unbelievable. It was so much fun. And that's Murph. He I think he had another call that night he was going to do, and he canceled it to be on this Zoom call with us for the rest of the night. And It was just, he's just a really great man. And I can't say enough good things about him. He taught me a lot. I always tell people I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I think that is a lot because of Coach Patrick Murphy.
That's fantastic. That's a great way to end the podcast right there. I mean, but I do have a question though. How did you guys get questions in with 60 people on a Zoom?
There was a lot of storytelling and talking, and a lot of talking at once.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, sorry, go ahead. But gosh, that was a fun night. It's something definitely that I'll remember for a long time. That was a really good time.
No doubt. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, Leah, I got to thank you for coming on the podcast. This has been, fantastic. Coming on, talking about your career at Alabama and, going through and, talking about the amazing Mizuno products that you have in line and, everything about the product. So, I got to thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you even thinking about me for it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, going forward, I wish you nothing but the best with Mizuno and life and, everything that's in store. So thanks again.
Thank you, Randy.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Move in silence, but my actions speak very loud. My mama's very proud the way I made her hear me out. I said I'd do this till us carried out, till I'm in the cemetery buried. I'm running the necessary routes. All I wanted was appreciation from the ones that I appreciated. Nothing sophisticated, and all I ever needed was financial security to make sure that this music wouldn't murder me. Look, I grew up on Snoop Dogg and Pooka Premier. Did music with them both, so I feel like the goal's fulfilled. Invested every dollar saved in music for real. Put it all in real estate and stock, and it steadily builds. Now my family is good, so the goals change, roles change. I'm looking at it different now with old age. Time used to move slow, now flies fast. You can always get your money, but can never get your time back.
I be stuck in my ways, got me feeling some way. Never change for a thing, yeah, you got it. Ain't got no one to blame, cause I ride my own way. Had to find my own way, yeah, you got it. Kinda rush it around, the ups and the downs. Go well, but you know that's true. Stuck in my own ways. It's a trip, but I love it. Yeah. It's a trip, but I love it. It's a trip, but I love it.
Real shit, my buzz ain't buzzing like it used to be. I see these other guys are racking up more views than me. I used to have that attitude like let me prove my piece. Now I'm like it's cool with me. Maybe I'm just too fatigued.